So this video is going to take you through the 2022 Monza Grand Prix safety car finish, and I'm going to show you this through the different commentary. The first video I've just done, which is what this sport does to you, okay, and this is the second version with the different commentary teams. So this is on F1 TV, and I can only play a second, but watch.
To the end, but so far the laps are ticking down.
Right, so what's just been gone by, that orange flash that you saw was Daniel Ricciardo's car commentary.
And Ricciardo stopped.
Okay, so Daniel Ricciardo pulls over. And if we look at what's really going on, that's what happens. He pulls over on the side of the track. Let's go through the data again. We compare Monza with Abu Dhabi 2021. At that stage, there were 6.5 laps of that race remaining, which was a race distance of 37.63 kilometres. Would have taken about 9 minutes 45 of racing at normal racing pace. 6.5 laps, 37 kilometres. In Abu Dhabi, there were 5 1/3 laps left when Latifi crashed, just 28 kilometres, about 8 minutes of racing. Okay, they are the figures we're dealing with, and we'll just get these into your head. Abu Dhabi, 5 1/3 laps remaining, 28 kilometres, about 8 minutes that takes. Monza, 6.5 laps left, 37 kilometres, so there's 9 kilometres extra, and that normally takes 9 minutes 45 of normal racing time. So you would think if out of any of those two, if any of them could get going again, it would be Monza. Didn't work like that. Monza ended with a safety car finish. Abu Dhabi didn't. Now consider this. In Abu Dhabi, we had a car that caught fire, that smashed into a barrier, that had debris on the track. So what needed to happen in Abu Dhabi was the car needed to be recovered. Well, firstly, they had to use a fire extinguisher to put the fire out. They then had to remove the car from the track. They had to sweep the debris off the track. They had to sweep the excess powder off the track where possible. They had to check the barrier. That was the process that had to happen in Abu Dhabi. Them things had to be done. In Monza, the barriers weren't damaged. There was no debris on the track. There was no fire to extinguish. All there had to be in Monza was a crane come out, pick that car up, off it went. Now it's stuck into gear at the moment, so therefore the marshals can't push it. So you just go, yeah, we can't move this, get the crane out. Should be an easy clear up. Should be able to clear this up within a few laps. They don't. They don't do that. The clear-up operation of what needed to happen in Monza was nowhere near the same level of clear-up operation as to what took place in Abu Dhabi. So, these are the sorts of things you need to be considering. What is going on here? Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the commentary, and I'll just pick out what this bunch of commentators is saying. So I'm going to hit play on the F1 TV footage, but I'm just going to have to show you that screenshot of the incident and keep that going all the way through, because ultimately they will block the video if I show their footage. So here we go. Let's have a listen to what bullshit they're going to come out with.
Stop there on the inside.
And that could cause a safety car, virtual safety car. Of course, everyone has made pit stops, so this may not make a huge difference. Listen in to Ricciardo.
I lost the engine.
Oh.
That'll be a full safety car. Ricciardo gutting for him. He was having a good drive. He had a decent qualifying yesterday, got into Q3. A fantastic grid place. And he was having a solid defensive drive today. So it's really unlucky for him, who looked like he had some mojo back this weekend. He's pulled over, no points. Full safety car we're going to get. Are we going to get a lap of racing at the end?
Yeah, this could be interesting, Sam.
Yeah, a full safety car, I think, is what's happening. But look, Ferrari are rushing out for one of their drivers in case it's a virtual or a full, but Red Bull are reacting, coming out. Then they're thinking maybe it's not going to be a full safety car. They don't know what to do, but Ferrari look like they are rolling the dice, and that's got to be full. Well, I don't know. Charles Leclerc, maybe.
No, Leclerc stayed out.
It's glitching at the moment in terms of whether it's buffering on the feed. They're not wrong in as much that is it possible to get a racing lap on this one? With 6.5 laps to go, the average is about 5.5 before racing resumes. So from the outset, you would think it is actually possible. So they're not wrong, but what they're also doing, they're going, oh, are we, aren't we, are we, aren't we? That notion of building it up for the viewer. Okay, this is standard. This is what you see all the time in F1 is, what are we going to see now? Hyping it all up. Okay, it's valid to ask the question, are we, aren't we, at this stage? But as the situation unfolds, you will see that it then becomes not possible because the rules dictate a certain procedures need to happen. And when, as the time elapses, you can see that it's not going to be able to happen because the time is not there for it to happen. But what you'll also hear as it unfolds is they'll still be throwing all that bullshit speculation in there. Let's hope that we can play this uninterrupted footage. We'll see how we carry on with it.
Leclerc is still out there. Ricciardo's car stopped at the side. They're all waiting to find out, is this going to be a full safety car? As you say, it's likely where that car is. Yep, full safety car.
But this is Abu Dhabi all over again. Do you pit and lose track position? Verstappen, Leclerc and Russell does pit. He's going to fall behind Carlos Sainz if Sainz doesn't pit. There's the Ferrari in the background and he does pit. So they're all pitting to take the soft tyre if we get racing again for a lap.
But Charles Leclerc hasn't pitted, so he's on 14-lap old soft tyres. That's Carlos Sainz's car coming in there to take the soft tyres inevitably. So he's going to have a good run at the end of this race.
Leclerc and Verstappen can now pit, though. They can now pit. They will catch the safety car, I think, on the next lap, so they can cover off these...
Glitching.
These stops of Russell and Sainz.
This is going to make for a fascinating end, isn't it? We've got just over 5 laps, but it depends how many laps it takes to get that car out of the way. We may only get a couple of laps for racing.
Can we make a free stop?
Yes.
So they are going to make a pit stop. We are going to see Verstappen come in. It will mean, though, that they will be bunched up together on fresh tyres. And of course, Verstappen, who's had great pace, I think he'll feel very confident that he's going to have the ability to stay in front, but it's going to make a real battle at the end. Lando Norris also making a pit stop.
Verstappen has a safety car gap to stop.
We do not gain position if we stay out, so stop this lap.
And there comes Leclerc into the pits.
Now, I wonder if they could have left Sainz out to gain position over Russell. Sainz was on a soft tyre going pretty quickly already. Would that have been a risk worth taking for Ferrari? Because I think they would have gone ahead of George Russell when Russell pitted, and that would have put Sainz in third place. There's always the chance this goes to the end, under the wave yellows, the full course yellow, and that would have given Sainz a podium.
Just looking at Sergio Perez, obviously he stopped relatively recently, so...
There's always a chance this goes to the end. We're now on 49 of 53. We can look at the state of the clear upon track. Is that crane there? Do they look to be getting that car recovered? Okay, do they look to be getting that car recovered? What's the position of the safety car? Has he picked up the leader? If he hasn't picked up the leader, is he going to just keep them in a bunch lapping until it's then clear, until there's such a time where he'll release any cars that he's picked up which aren't the leader and get the leader behind him, and then await the instruction from the clerk of the course that it's then safe, where they can then carry out the procedure whereby they release the lapped cars, then give the lapped cars a further safety car lap with which to attempt to catch the back of the pack. That has to be done as a minimum before you can go racing again. And if those cars have not caught the back of the pack, the race director has it in his discretion to say, well, I'm still not going to start the race yet because it's not fair on these guys that have just been released because they've been left disadvantaged. So actually, this will be a safety car finish. It's not just about setting it up for just 1 or 2 people to race off for a win. It's ensuring safe and fair restart conditions for all competitors in the race. It's not just about, let's make some drama out of this. It's not what the sport's about. But that's what they make it, because that's the fake show that it is.
Didn't need to come in, 5-lap old soft on his car.
Yeah, that could be interesting. But there is Charles Leclerc then, and back out on the soft tyres. Now, he's quite a long way behind Verstappen, obviously, because before this safety car came out, he was some 16 seconds or so behind the race leader. They will be bunched up, and the lapped cars will be moved out of the way, but we are not going to get many laps. We're on lap 49 out of 53.
Will be moved out of the way. Look at the way they still describe this. the lapped cars will be moved out of the way. This is the narrative. These people, right? They are told to say things a certain way. They are told to say it to you that way. That's not the truth. Why do they project this notion of, oh, we'll just discard these competitors, we'll just shove them out of the way, they don't matter, right? All we want to see is who's going to win out of this one and this one. That's not what a sport is, okay? If you think that that's what sport is, you haven't got a clue about what sport is. But these are the sports commentators making you think that that is what they're doing here. That's not what they're doing. What they are doing is a regulation that is there to ensure that the correct criteria is met prior to resuming that race. That's what's going on. It's nothing to do with, oh, getting them out of the way. We carry on.
It's going to take a couple of laps at least to get this all sorted out.
Yeah, we may finish this under safety car, or we might sneak maybe one.
So we're on lap 49 of 52. It all depends. Everything needs to happen. What needs to happen? And let's be clear. So what needs to happen is the field needs to bunch. They need to make sure that anybody that's been picked up before the leader gets released and they go round, it's a bunch field, and then they release the lapped cars. But the clerk of the course needs to give the race director the all clear that the track is safe for him to carry out that procedure. That procedure then consists of releasing all the lapped cars and then performing that further lap of the safety car. So, knowing that this is a 53 lap race, on lap 51 at the very latest, the lapped cars have to be released on lap 51 at the very latest. That enables lap 52 to be that mandatory safety car lap. That's the only way that lap 53 can be a racing lap. So lap 51 is the key lap. They can speculate at this stage. Between lap 49 and 51, they can speculate. But as we go on to 51, if those lapped cars are not released on that lap, that's it. Safety car finish. We know that as of lap 51, if those lapped cars are not released by the end of lap 51 and have passed the leader. That's the way it works. Simple. Simple. So that's all you need to know. As the fan, that's all you need to know. The key moment that we're all looking for now is, can this be carried out before lap 51? Because if not, we're not going to see any more racing. And let's see how they tell you that.
One lap in at the end, and this is the tough call for the strategist. Do you pit, take your soft tyre, but maybe just lose track position that you don't get a chance to gain back at the end? This is Abu Dhabi level of decision again, without the consequence on the line. There's no jumping.
It's not Abu Dhabi level of decision. Abu Dhabi level of decision is the data. Okay, and I'm going to do a video showing you the data and how I calculated the data. I calculated the safety car data, and I will show you exactly how I did it. Okay, the data says 5.5 laps will go by on average before racing will resume after an incident like this. So this one is a touch and go situation. There's 6.5 laps to go at the point that the incident occurred. So, on average, it's 5.5 laps, which means sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But if you go by the average, 5.5 laps, you'd say it's more likely in this race that we're going to get a resumption to racing. At Abu Dhabi, there was 5 1/3 laps left. And if the data says 5.5 laps before we go racing, the data says there's less chance. It's more likely it's going to be a safety car finish. So you go by that data to make your decisions. That's how you work it. That's what you do as a strategist. And actually, you factor in the likeliness of that average being accurate on the grounds of what needs clearing up here. What sort of clear-up operation is this? Is this just a simple case of a crane coming onto track, picking that car up and off, and then that's it done, and we're safe to do the procedures to get going again? Or is this a case where, oh, it's actually going to take longer? Because not only have we got a crashed car, it's not just a car that's pulled over, it's a crashed car which has set itself on fire, so that's had to be fire extinguished. We've got to get the crane on track. We've got to sweep the track clear of fire extinguisher powder and debris, and we've got to check the barriers. That's going to take longer, which is going to indicate that should even take longer than a 5.5 lap incident. That's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's going to be. So, yeah, we'll carry on.
Each of in play. We can.
It's taken them a while, isn't it? I think you might be right.
I mean, they need a vehicle there to help, I think, get that car out of the way, and it's not in an easy place to pick it up.
Race Control does have the option in its locker of throwing a red flag here and then just having a one-lap dash for the cash at the end, but they need to make...
Race Control has it in its locker for the option of a one-lap dash for the cash. See, this is the kind of bullshit that they want to condition you with. Okay? I've already had our friend Eric, one of our trolls, he's tried to say, oh, you've not said the right criteria for the red flag. Okay, Eric, this is just for you. The criteria for throwing a red flag are when the track is blocked, if there is no passageway through because an incident has blocked the track, you red flag it. If a driver or even somebody around the circuit, such as a marshal, is in peril, they clearly look like they need medical assistance urgently, and you have got to get the medical car out to them. You want to just stop them cars from being anywhere near that and let the medics deal with what they need to deal with. You throw a red flag then. If the clear operation is going to be a prolonged period, so if you look at the barriers and know that they are going to take quite a period of time to rectify them, to make them safe again, then that's a valid reason for throwing a red flag. And if there is debris strewn all over the track, so that as the cars drive through lap after lap after lap, there is a continued risk of them picking up debris and punctures, like it was in Imola when Russell and Bottas crashed that time in 2021, and debris was strewn all over the track. There were 2 cars that needed recovering. The barriers were all obliterated. They're the sorts of things that you throw a red flag for. They're the criteria. So if it's only going to take you up to, say, for example, even 6 or 7 laps to deal with the situation and make everything possible to go racing again, that is the valid timescale for a safety car. If it's going to take longer than around about, say, 6-7 laps max, then that's when you say, okay, that's too long, let's red flag this. Because if you start bringing in this notion, oh, there's something happened, we'll stop the race, that is open to manipulation as well. That manipulation being in the last few laps of every Grand Prix we'll ever see, somebody, especially if they've got a B team, can have a crash, and all of a sudden all advantages built up over the course of 180 miles get nullified, and instead, where somebody might have been winning by a couple of miles, instead now it's nothing, and instead we're going to have a 1 lap dash for the cash. Well, that's not the point of Grand Prix racing. That is not the point of what this sport is. Okay, if you get excited by a sprint race, watch the 100 meters athletics. Okay, if that's what excites, if all you want to see is 10 seconds of all action excitement, watch that sport. If you want to see motor racing, which is an hour and 45 minutes of cars contesting for that length of time and seeing who comes out on top over that length of time, then be interested in Formula One. And enjoy the fact that over the duration of 190 miles, that's a competitor that came out on top over that period of time because they fulfilled the criteria, because that's what the criteria is of that sport. Let's not turn the criteria of this sport into, oh, just make it a 1 lap dash for the cash. Otherwise, what? Let's not do Grand Prix over 56 laps or 53 laps. Let's just do them for 1 lap. Let's turn a Formula 1 Grand Prix into just 1 lap. Let's just do that. Otherwise, what's the point? What is the point of the sport if all you want to see is 1 lap? Okay? You know, let's just cater for the fucking brain dead. Let's just cater for the ones that just get excited by the 1 lap shootout. No, you just get excited by that. You can fuck off. Okay? This is not the sport for you. Okay? Play computer games, play Mario Kart, do what the fuck you want, but this is not the sport for you, because that's not what this sport's about. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Make that decision pretty quickly if they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, Sam. A red flag, which is what many of the arguments about Abu Dhabi could have happened, to give the marshals the chance to get that car out of the way safely. But as you say, if they're going to do it, they have to do it pretty soon.
Yeah, and what did Gasly, De Vries and Zhou do? Do they pit for a new set of soft tyres, or do they just think this is going to finish under safety car and leave it for now, keep the track position? Tough call to be making on the pit wall. And I think Ferrari had a real chance with Sainz to get them ahead of Russell on the track. When Russell pitted, if Sainz had carried on, that would have put Carlos in third now, either to take the podium. That's
right. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Could they do this? Who's going to do that? What might be this? What might be that? This is what you get every Grand Prix, right? Every situation like this. Oh, could it be this? Could it be that? We'll make you think this. We'll make you think that. Just see what happens. Just watch. Don't listen, right? Just watch. And if you've got a brain, you've got the ability to work this shit out for yourself. But if you haven't, you'll just get excited by it all. Oh, so much jeopardy. I can't cope with this shit. It's too exciting for me.
Podium at the end, or to just hang on a slightly more used soft tyre that he was going to take to the end anyway.
If this goes back to green flag racing, Schumacher, Bottas and Ocon actually are all at risk from Tsunoda, but Schumacher and Bottas are also on the soft tyre against the hard tyres of Ocon, Zhou and the older medium tyres of De Vries and then even Gasly.
Yeah, Schumacher's at so much is in 12th place, mate. Risky shit that is, isn't it? Oh, he's at so much risk. Yeah. I'm in 12th. I'm getting essentially nothing out of this race. I'm essentially at risk of getting even less. Oh, the jeopardy.
He's coming into that play as well.
Where is the safety car?
I'm kind of wondering that too.
So tyre update.
So Leclerc pitted for a scrub soft. Russell has also pitted for a scrub soft. Sainz for a new soft.
But we may not get much racing, guys, but this is the laps are ticking away. And right now, it's looking as though it's getting difficult to move Daniel Ricciardo's car out of the way in time for us to get a sprint to the finish. We may still get a lap. Let's wait and see. For now, it's Verstappen leading the race from Charles Leclerc.
Let's wait and see. We're on 50 of 53. Still valid at that point.
George Russell in third. Carlos Sainz now in fourth. Lewis Hamilton from the back of the grid up into fifth place, but then Sainz from nearly the back as well, of course, up ahead of him. And then we've got Perez in sixth, Lando Norris in seventh. But what a shame for Daniel Ricciardo, the man who will be leaving the team at the end of this year, who was on target for one of his best finishes of the season, and it's all gone wrong through mechanical reliability.
And the field is still not even bunched up at this point behind the safety car.
I don't see a rescue vehicle anywhere near.
There it is, but it's not very far they've got to go and get it. But
well, let's have a look. Well, the trouble is, it changes commentary when we go on to track of view.
A low loader.
So we now go on to Sky commentary. But that's the positions of the cars on track. If you actually look at this, the safety car picked up George Russell when the others went into the pits. So Max Verstappen, the race leader, is actually back here. And then the last running competitors back here at turn 8, 9. So firstly, these have got a bunch up here. And then the safety car has got to release all these cars from George Russell down to this red dot here, whatever that one is. Jew, maybe, I don't know. Or no, whatever this grey one is, I think, if this is Verstappen. And then the safety car will be in front of Verstappen. These cars will be behind Verstappen. These ones that have been released by the safety car will go round the track and link up with the back. And then they'll release the lapped cars after that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. And when we're on lap 50 and we know that this process has got to be completed by the end of lap 51, these lapped cars have got to be released by the end of lap 51. Work it out for yourselves. Well, no, don't do that because some of you won't be able to.
With this, because to get the unlapped cars all the way through takes a lap.
Yeah.
We're on lap 50 now. There is the safety car finally. We may be seeing, as Jolyon said, a checkered flag.
The safety car's picked up Russell. It's George Russell behind the safety car. That is your race leader right at the back of this. So the safety car's got to let all of those cars through. We're not racing again. This is going to be it, I would say.
Yeah, that does make me wonder whether we're going to get any racing at all.
So, we're now on lap 51. We're not racing again. It does make me wonder. Okay, so they finally said it. We're not racing again. But carry on listening. Carry on listening. And they're showing you the clear-up operation. This is not shown as a replay. This is real time. You never got to see that real time in Abu Dhabi. They never showed you it real time in Abu Dhabi, and you got a glimpse. You literally got a half a second of cars coming into view, and most people would not have picked up on it. And that crane taking away Latifi's car. They did not give people a clear picture of what was actually taking place at turn 14, where the cars were on track relative to it, and therefore the implications. They did not allow people to see that for themselves clearly, and that was done on purpose. Anyway.
The Marshal's doing a fantastic job, of course, to try and get everything done as quickly as possible. There's only so much they can do. They had to wait for that vehicle to get out there. Now they can hopefully lift it and get it into a place of safety before the cars will be heading around in a moment, in fact, coming past them, but there is plenty of space and they all know it's there, so they can take it nice and easy. But the chances of us actually seeing any racing are diminishing.
I think it's a real shame that this didn't get red flagged, actually, because that could have been red flagged a little while ago, and we could have gone back and had a couple of laps of racing in, and that would have been a great showdown between Leclerc, Verstappen, and Russell and Sainz.
And they've got to let the lap cars go through. Then they've got to have another lap. So we're gonna run out of laps here.
Absolutely right there, Martin. Although it's not Martin, is it? But they're now telling the rules as they should be. At this moment in time, they are anyway. At this moment in time, they are.
Does feel like it. For Christian Horner, this could be an early celebration for another victory for Red Bull, potentially. It's certainly looking very strong for them. Safety car is now allowing some of those cars past so that it can pick up the race leader, Max Verstappen.
And there are lap cars in there as well that will have to unlap themselves.
There is Verstappen about to catch the safety car.
This could be quite important, because if the safety car picks up Verstappen now and then immediately lets past the lap traffic before they cross the start-finish line, there is a glimmer of hope of some racing.
Well, let's wait and see. Everybody out there is certainly considering they're going to be racing. Look at the way that they're working their tyres.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking my chances on it. You've got to keep yourself in the zone.
The message hasn't gone to the lap traffic that they can overtake the safety car yet, because the track...
Because of why?
Track isn't clear up at the Lesmo, and we're...
Because the track isn't clear at the Lesmo. Okay, so that's what happens, isn't it? The track has to be declared clear before you carry out the procedure. Let's have a look at Daniel Ricciardo's camera. So, they've wheeled him off the track, but they've not declared the track clear. The clerk of the course has not given him the okay that he's happy for everything to be declared safe. There's a procedure that he'll have to do. He'll have to make sure the marshals are away. Although the barriers weren't damaged, it will be his responsibility to perform checks before he hands back to the race director. So we can see this is Daniel Ricciardo's car shot at this moment in time. He's off track, the crane's off track, but the order from the clerk of the course is still not declared everything clear yet. And until that order comes, you can't release lapped cars. and we're on. Let's go back to the main feed.
Few hundred metres.
On lap 51, let's see where around lap 51 we are with tracker view.
As well as the...
Well, only just on, are we? No, we're not. We're not. Because actually the leaders are on lap 51, and this is where the bit is... let me just enlarge this so you can see. The safety car and Max Verstappen is rounding turn 11. Okay, these are the ones that are released that have crossed the start-finish line, but the lapped cars are still behind Verstappen. It's the lapped cars haven't been released. The only ones that were released were the ones that the safety car had picked up, which weren't in the right race order, because they'd become that way because of the way that certain cars pitted. So effectively, when Verstappen comes around and crosses the start-finish line with the safety car, they're going to be on lap 52. All right. The order from the clerk of the course has not come that it's safe to release the lapped cars yet. So the race director won't release the lapped cars. And if they've not been released by the checkered flag here as they come round, it's a safety car finish. That's the way it is. They've got that amount of time.
Pit wall. It hasn't come up.
Traffic message doesn't go
So what we'll do, we'll play it through on this commentary because, again, both commentaries are different.
out.
Well, let's see what happens here. As you say, with the lapped cars in between, let's see, will they decide that all lapped cars have to be released? The problem in Abu Dhabi was that they released some and not all, and that sort of was what caused...
No, that wasn't the problem. You are lying. You are paid to lie. That wasn't the problem. It was not a case of, oh, the problem in Abu Dhabi was that they only released 5 of 8. No. You can't go racing with lapped cars in situ. It's not an either or, and the problem was you only did half of the cars. You could have either released them all or released none, and you'd have been okay. No, if you don't release them, you can't go racing because of the purpose. The purpose is to have the right restart conditions, which is all cars on the same lap, nose to tail, in the correct race order. That is sporting fairness to all competitors. That's the restart condition. That's what it is. Those cars that have been lapped are still racing. You can't not allow them to race because that's what you're doing. By choosing, oh yeah, you no longer are involved in this race. We don't care about you. You might well have just been behind a car that was just in front of the leader. The leader's just passed you, but the car that was just in front of him that you were racing, he's disappeared off around and he's joined the back of the snake now, but you can no longer race him. No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So don't keep lying.
Some of the confusion, because in theory they don't have to let all the lap cars come through if they decide not to, but they have to either let them...
In whose theory? In whose theory? Stop coming out with the lies and the bullshit theory. Look at the rules. Look at the regulations. What are they? They're concrete. They're not optional. They are concrete. They are rules. It's not theory. It's not he can choose to do this or he can choose to do that. This is conditioning. You're fucking lying to people. It's disgusting.
Through or not at all.
Well, if they decide not at all, the safety car can pit at the end of this lap and go back to racing. But we haven't seen anything on the screen yet.
I don't know why they didn't let the lap cars go.
Okay, consider this. If they choose not at all, right, the rules changed in 2012. How many times have they chosen not at all since 2012? And the answer is 0. There was one incident in Singapore, and I can't remember the year, Pascal Wehrlein. He was lapped twice. During that safety car period, the leaders pitted. When the leaders pitted, he became effectively only 1 lap down. Wehrlein then came into the pits the following lap, making himself 2 laps down again. I believe, and we'll double check this, we'll go through this with you for everybody. It's harder to do it back on them years because they don't have tracker view, they don't have data view. So you're reliant upon the images that they want to show you to be able to try and pick it out. But it very much seems that the reason they did not release Wehrlein, that's the only time, is because he got himself lapped again after the safety car had passed the first safety car line for the second time. And that makes you ineligible to be released. That's the criteria. That is actually stated in Article 48. There's qualifying criteria for you to be released. And if you meet that criteria, you get to unlap. There's no race director's choice as to whether he allows you or not. This is the criteria for the procedure. That's what it is. But in every case, that's what has been done. In every case, the cars that are eligible get unlapped. That's what you do. And they're saying, oh, it doesn't have to. You can go racing like this. No, you could do that back in 2011 when the regulation stated that. But back in the 1980s, you could pass the ball back to the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper could pick it up. Kick it back to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper can pick it up and waste some time at football. Which of your commentators go, oh, yeah, they can. They've still got the option of the defender kicking it back to the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper can pick the ball up. Yeah, that's fine. They don't have to not pick it up with their hands. That's still an option. No, it's not. Why are the commentators in Formula One lying about it? They're lying about it.
Go through on that lap when they had the chance. There's an Alfa Romeo in there, an Alfa Tauri, Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas. When they let the other cars go through, could they have sorted out the lap cars at the same time? They haven't, and it's going to leave us with I don't think a final lap.
Yeah, I mean, even if they do allow a final lap of racing, there are now going to be so many cars in between.
We're still talking, aren't we? We're still talking. So rather than right, we're now on lap 51. Sorry, 52. They didn't release the lap cars on 51, which means they can't carry out the procedure, which means it's going to be a safety car finish. So, providing nobody breaks down now, then you're going to see a safety car finish. This is going to be a finishing order. That's all it is. But what they're doing, they are still talking. They're still speculating. Oh, could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? Could it be that? No, you're still talking and you're chatting shit.
Potential rivals, certainly in between Verstappen and Leclerc, that Leclerc would have absolutely no chance. Maybe some battles further behind them, potentially.
I think there was a chance for Ferrari to not pit Sainz. Mercedes pitted Russell, which was a harder call to make for Mercedes because Russell was on a hard tyre, and if there was a lap of racing, he would have been a real sitting duck with the field bunched up. Sainz was on a soft tyre that maybe could have held on with a high top speed of the Ferrari anyway.
Clear in that area now, Sam.
Yeah, clear in track sector 9. If the lights go out on the top of that Aston Martin safety car any moment, we could go straight back to racing and have a one-lap shootout. But there's a bit of traffic between the two front runners here.
Let's find.
We're on lap 52 and he's telling us we could still get a one-lap shootout. You're just chatting shit, mate. You are just chatting shit. So, but you've excited some kids. Some kids that are watching that will be going, oh, we're going to see that. Oh, we're going to see that. And I'll be saying, no, you're chatting shit. And then let's see who's right. Let's see if him thinking about the one lap shootout is going to happen, or let's see if I'm right. And let those of you in the comment section don't go thinking, oh no, but he could have. Well, he didn't. And the reason he didn't, because the regulations don't allow that, but you think that because the commentators are lying to you, you think that they know what they're talking about. They're paid to lie to you, to hype the show up, to hype you up, right? Whereas I'm talking about what's allowed to happen because I understand sport. I understand sport because I've played it. I don't just play on computer games in my bedroom wanking away like most of you teenagers that are watching this sport, right? I played it. I played sport for 30 odd years, 40 years of my life. Okay? I played it. I know what I'm talking about. Real shit. Okay? Not just fake ass electronic stimulation. Real shit. And you understand what's going on if you've got a brain and you've experienced something. Okay? And not just listen to the hype show.
Find out then, is race control going to allow a final attack on the last lap with lapped cars in position, or are we going to see them finish under the yellow flag? Effectively, they'll do one more lap behind the safety car, and the order will be exactly as it is. We're all
What are we going to
waiting.
see?
We're all wondering
I wonder.
what's going to happen. The lights are still on the safety car.
It's going to finish behind the safety car.
Yeah.
I'm
It
afraid.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think
Oh,
the lights
shit.
would have to be out by now, surely, if they were going to release this lot into one more race, lap of a race. Listening to radio.
And we will finish the race behind the safety car. Come on.
Oh,
It's clear. Come on. Yeah, copy.
Oh, so disappointed. I thought it was going to happen. Worst day of my life. Worst day of my life. I really thought it was going to get going there. What an anticlimax. Nobody wants to see a race end behind a safety car. Nobody wants to see a race end behind the safety car.
that is disappointing, I have to say. And for the fans here, the Tifosi fans, all hoping that Ferrari would have a chance on the final lap. That's it. Effectively, we go on to the final lap behind the safety car. This is the finishing order of the Italian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen in front, Charles Leclerc in second, George Russell in third. That's going to be our podium. They have to cruise now for the remaining lap, but there are no changes coming.
It's not the way that you want the race to finish. You can feel all the conundrums from Abu Dhabi coming back again, can't you? Really, everything, the pressures that the FIA are under to do the right thing, but no one wants to see a safety car finish. At the same time, here it looks like
they're under pressure to do the right thing, but nobody wants to see them do the right thing. Yeah, yeah. Let's just give the kids something to excite the kids. Yeah, rather than conduct sport in the manner that it's supposed to be conducted in. Yeah, it's amazing what these kids get excited by. The grandstand finish. Okay, what kind of films have that kind of grandstand finish? The happy ending.
it's like the lessons have probably been learnt from Abu Dhabi, and we are just going to have the finish behind the safety car.
It is coming in at the end of the lap, but they do have to then hold position, don't they, over the line?
That's right. We saw this. We did this in the post-race show at the Dutch Grand Prix last week. You're not allowed to overtake until the line. So the safety car will come in, everybody will accelerate and get the checkered flag, but they all have to stay in the same order, which will be rather frustrating. And I think Charles Leclerc's radio message there spoke for the racing fans of the world.
Indeed. We would love to have seen a final lap shootout, but it hasn't happened, I'm afraid.
That's it. So you're only a racing fan. You're only a racing fan if you want to see a racing finish. If you're happy with a safety car finish, you're not a racing fan. That's what they'll tell you, kids. You're a proper racing fan if you want to see a racing finish. Those that want to see sport, oh yeah, you're not a racing fan. No, you don't know anything about motor racing if you don't want to see a racing finish. Fucking wankers.
And we know now the results, and there's some great stories in there still. And I tell you what, Nick de Vries is going to score.
There's still some great stories in there, isn't there? Still some great stories. But nobody wants to see a safety car finish. But there's some great stories.
For Williams in 9th position. Well done to Nick de Vries. What a great drive it has been on his debut for the Williams team. So, as we mentioned, since Nico Rosberg made his debut with that team, he becomes the first Williams driver to score points on a debut with the team. And that is truly wonderful. And well done to him. And surely now he's going to be a name in...
See, even F1 TV are giving a shout out to Wonderful. Hear that, Wonderful? They love you, man.
Much consideration for a full driver's seat next year. Zhou Guanyu is going to get a point for Alfa Romeo as well in 10th place. A bad day for Alpine though, because Esteban Ocon down in 11th, and a retirement from Fernando Alonso means Alpine failed to score any points at all here today, whereas their big rivals McLaren at least have got one car in the top 7, having lost the other of Daniel Ricciardo, which caused this.
Just saw some damage on Max Verstappen's engine cover there. Won't make a difference.
Max Verstappen wins the Italian Grand Prix under safety car. He beats Charles Leclerc and George.
It sounds quite. Let's. I wish I could show you the footage to see how exciting it is.
Over there. Won't make a difference.
Max Verstappen wins the Italian Grand Prix under safety car. He beats Charles Leclerc and George Russell, and Max takes his 11th win of the 2022 season, his 5th consecutive victory, but his first win at Monza. He's never won the Italian Grand Prix before. It's a big day for him. It's a big day for Red Bull. First time that the team has won in the hybrid era.
Who'd have thought that a commentator could make a safety car finish sound exciting? And who'd have thought anybody would be celebrating after a safety car finish? Nobody wants to see a safety car finish. If you're a racing fan, you don't want to see a safety car finish. I thought Red Bull were racing fans. I thought we wanted to see a motor race, Red Bull. Then we went car racing. Right. More to come, but eventually we'll try. Well, I don't think we're going to open up the minds of the conditioned, unfortunately. But those who yet haven't seen the content of the channel will maybe start experiencing and understanding what bullshit this sport is, and then start understanding what my other videos are actually showing, proving the true level of manipulation in Abu Dhabi, proving it was fixed, proving that F1 TV presented a narrative, proving that Sky Sports F1 lied to you before the fix even took place, proving that it's not just a Michael Massey error because of everything that he's done in the sport, proving his knowledge, proving the 4 stewards corruptly adjudicated in that post-race appeal, proving that every part of media coverage since has just served to validate it and never expose the truth. And I'm going to go on to proving the FIA's report, which could have been written by a 14-year-old kid. A 14-year-old kid could have done a better job. Anyway, until next time, thank you for your time.